Truth and Transcendence, episode 175. Today I'd like to talk about the purpose of the work. And by the work, I mean any personal growth or spiritual expansion work we may be embarked upon. And when I say that, some of us might immediately assume that what I'm talking about is healing. And actually, that's not necessarily what I'm talking about. I was listening to somebody on Gaia TV the other day, which, by the way, I heartily recommend. And he was talking about the fact that, yes, sometimes we do require healing, and that what healing means is being made whole, making ourselves whole. So if we're feeling fragmented or depleted or wounded or damaged in some way, it could be that what we need is healing. However, there comes a point in time when we are healed, when we are whole. And the next stage from that is activation. And activation is a bit like turning on the on switch within us. So we're all healed up, we're all fine. And activation is a bit like, okay, so your broken leg is healed. So now you can go to the gym and you can do push-ups and pull-ups and lunges and weights and all of those things. And these are activation activities, turning on switches, strengthening ourselves, finding hidden strengths and resources within us. And there are many other forms of activation that we can embark on. Some training programs are actually about activation. Anything that helps us to switch ourselves on, empower ourselves, expand ourselves, bring out hidden capacities and resources and activate them, bring them into play, comes under this heading of activation. The thing is, once we've done the activation, and I'm sure some people listening will have experienced this, you'll come off some sort of seminar or program and you're fully activated, you've got lots of energy, lots of ideas and all these new resources and skills and capabilities. But you might be feeling a bit insane. You might be feeling a little bit all over the place. So the next stage from that is actually stabilization. And when we go through the stabilization process, what we're doing is we are integrating and normalizing that which has emerged from the activation phase. So we're still activated, but we've incorporated it metabolically into our bodies, our minds, our spirits. And the stabilization process is very different from the activation process, which is also very different from the healing process. Some people use massage or energy treatments, that sort of thing, to help with stabilization, because these help things to integrate within the body and within the self. And the stabilization process allows us to become more grounded, allows that which was completely miraculous and new and perhaps a bolt of lightning to become the norm for us. Once we've done that, we're then ready for the next stage, which is literally doing the work we're supposed to be doing here on the planet. And at that point, if we're looking for help from anyone else, it's to literally help us do the work. So we might be bouncing ideas off them. There may be some sort of mentoring arrangement. There may be some sort of coaching to help us put things into practice. There may be some sort of people helping us to make plans, initiate things, organize the finances. This is all helping us to do the work we're here to do. So those 4 different reasons to do some work or reasons to ask for help are quite distinct. That said, one of them may be your primary emphasis at the moment, and one or more of the others may also be present in the background, because we are multifaceted, multi-layered beings. So, for example, let's say you need healing at the moment. Whilst you're needing healing, you also need to keep going with what you're doing in your life. So you might be asking somebody for healing help, but you might be asking somebody else to help you think through your cash flow or think through your branding. Equally, let's say you are in the stabilization process. It could be while you're stabilizing that you damage your hip. And so you then need to go to the Chinese massage therapist and get some Tuina for that and some acupuncture and get that sorted out. So In practice, at any point in time, we might be needing more than one of these different types of help because we're in these different types of phase. But it's very, very useful to think about which is the primary emphasis for me at the moment. So I'll give an example of myself. I've just recently created a new workshop. At the time of the airing of this episode, the workshop will have started running. Going through the process of creating the workshop was an activation phase for me. Because what was happening was, in order to do that, I needed to pull things out of myself that I had not previously pulled out to that extent. I needed to touch pieces of wisdom or capability or insight within me that I'd not plumbed those depths before. So it was quite a volatile, challenging, stretching experience, definitely an activation experience. Having done that, having created it, the next phase is then, just integrating what I've done, leafing through the workbook, reflecting on what we're going to be doing, putting together the packing list and everything I need to take with me for these workshops, making sure the venue's set up properly, helping people by giving them the preparation information they need before they show up. This is all stabilization activity in this particular context. And then when it comes to running these weekends, I need to be supporting myself to do the work, which means someone's actually going to come in and help with the cleaning, so I don't have to do that. Someone else is going to help with the gardening. I'm going to have a car. I'm using a car to get from A to B. That is helping me to do my work. All of these things, and just making sure I get plenty of sleep, making sure that the people who run the venue I'm using have left it nice and clean for us. All of these are about supporting me to do the work. And then when I come out after having run the workshop, then I go into some rest, which I didn't mention in the 4 phases because rest is part of all 4 phases, contrary to popular belief sometimes. And then I'm ready for the next, whatever that next piece might be. So in relation to that project, I can see a trajectory there. If I look at my wider life, I can also look to see where am I and what do I most need at any point in time. So, and I think you can do the same. If you look at where you're investing in yourself at the moment, is it mostly for healing? Is it mostly for activation? Is it mostly for stabilization? Or is it mostly for literally helping you to do the work you're here to do at the moment? And if you don't know the answer to that, maybe reflect on it for a bit and look and see, is that really serving your needs? Are you engaging healing support when what you really need is stabilization? Are you engaging activation input when what you really need is to just be getting on with the work you've got in front of you for the moment? So thank you for listening. I invite you to reflect on that, and I will see you next time.